putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com, 844-551-8255. I wrote a book on race pimping, and I wrote it as a joke. It was a treatment for whites to look at and say, look, stop getting played, people. Get into the game or change the game. And I prefer we change the game. There is nobody in this country more sick of stupid black folks, always with their hand out begging for somebody to put something in it, than I. Nobody. It's why I'm so hard on black people. It would be like my kids, every time you see them, they would be, hey, can you give me $1? Will you give me $1? Will you give me $1? You know the way these kids are when you go to Italy and you travel around the world. These kids will come up to you and just beg, beg, beg. I would absolutely whip my boys' butts if they were out there begging for something. Go do something positive. Go make a way. In the most abject of circumstances, I would figure things out. Because that would be my life's mission, my role. But we have people that are professional poverty pimps. That's all they do. They sell that concept. And this lady who wrote this piece, her name is Channelle Helm, and she believes white people owe her something. It's almost like saying, I hate my parents were black. They don't even get it. That disjoint is the gap we have to fill. That is what we as Americans must work on. We must fill that disjoint. Are you kidding? White people, she writes, if any of you people intend to leave your property to our racist a-holes, change the will and will your property to a black or brown family, preferably one with generational poverty. She keeps focusing on generational poverty. Here are the first ones. White people, if you don't have any descendants, will your property to a black or brown family in generational poverty. White people, if you're inheriting, you should sell upon your acceptance, give it to a brown family because you're going to make money in some other white privileged way. The next one is if you're a developer of real estate, put your building in a place where black people live, in a blighted neighborhood, and let black and brown people live there for free. If you can afford to downsize, give up your home you own to a black or brown family, preferably from generational poverty. Those are the four. Now she's saying if you were going to leave your money to somebody who's a racist a-hole, and I guess she'll determine, who's a racist a-hole, then preferably then don't leave it to them. Give it to somebody black or brown, somebody in generational poverty. And the reason that I'm fixated on generational poverty is the reason how generational poverty gets created. It gets created because of generations. It gets created because the longer you are on something, the more you learn about it, the more you figure it out. I couldn't tell you enough about welfare to fill a thimble. If I needed it, I think I'd know where to go. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS. You get signed up, probably wait in a long line with a bunch of people who don't need it, and then you get signed up for assistance, for welfare. And I wouldn't figure out how to get more. I'd figure out how to transition. How do I get out of the situation of welfare and get into something meaningful? That's what I'd be thinking about. But no, we got generational welfare. People who know the welfare system like they're attorneys. I mean, can you imagine knowing, well, no, you don't want to do that, Kevin. By all means, don't move into that zip code because then that's going to change your status. That'll reduce your benefits or this or that. Don't take that job. Keep this off the books. They can tell you every nuance of that program. But can't, go get a job? Here's the next one. White people, rebudget your monthly so you can donate to black funds for land purchasing. So they're saying budget what you spend a month and take part of that money and give it to black people who can then purchase land. Why? Oh, should they be generationally impoverished so that they wouldn't even know what land to buy and where and wouldn't be able to develop it? What are they going to do with it? Here was the next one. White people, especially white women, because it's y'all, YW, specialty. Nosy Jenny and meddling Kathy. Get a racist fired. Y'all know what the F they be saying. You are complicit when you ignore them. Get your boss fired because they racist too. I'm reading it exactly as she wrote it. And see, this is the most dangerous one so far. You can control what you want to do with your money, etc. But what she's saying is, get somebody set up. Get in their business. Find out that they're not down for the cause and get them fired. Stir up enough emotion around what they're doing to get them fired. Have you heard these stories? I can tell you a guy who worked at the University of Notre Dame who was reading a book called Notre Dame versus the Klan, and he was suspended because some black chick, in this case not a meddling Kathy or a nosy Jenny, but a nosy Shaniqua, she saw the book and was offended. It triggered her. So in her offense of it, they put this guy on suspension, and it turns out it was a book about the University of Notre Dame battling the Ku Klux Klan. I don't know the details around it, but it in no way was racist, whatever. And it was, the irony of this story is it was at the University of Notre Dame. He's reading the book. Here's the next one. Backing up number 7. This should be easy, but all those sheetless Klan, Nazi, and other little pecker white men will all be returning to work. Get they blank fired. Call the police even. They look suspicious. She's saying, call the cops on white men. Regardless, tell them something's up. They tried to molest me. They called me the N-word. You wonder how the chancellor and the number 2 man at the University of Missouri were fired because some black guy goes, there was a guy driving in a red truck and he yelled the N-word. Was it you? You know, and we're supposed to believe it. It wasn't like, let's go look at surveillance video and see if there was a red truck that went by. Nothing. They just believed him. They tried to mitigate. It didn't work. Next thing you know, the 2 top white dogs, the white dudes at the University of Missouri were gone with a quickness. It's just crazy to me. How do you let people have that much power over you, over your job, over your livelihood? Number 9. Okay, backing up number 8. If any white person at your work, as you enter in spaces, you overhear a white person praising the actions from yesterday, talking about Charlottesville, get a pic, get their name and more info, find out where they work, get them fired, but certainly address them. And if you need to, you got hands, use them. Saying put hands on you. See, when I attend these rallies, these events, nobody puts hands on me, and I don't. There's no bravado. I just walk around normal. They don't put hands on me. My son's coach was so shocked when we came to a tournament that I wore my MAGA hat. He goes, I got to get a picture of this. And he goes, I don't have the guts to wear my hat. I told you guys this story. I was like, you got to be kidding me, dude. Doesn't have the guts. Big time Trump supporter. Finally, commit to 2 things. 1, fighting white supremacy where and how you can. This doesn't mean taking up knitting unless you're making scarves for black and brown kids in need. Number 2, funding black and brown people and their work. And she gives, every way you could possibly pay her. She has it here. She's got Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and something else. I don't even know what these are. Only one I know is PayPal. Because she wants to get paid. If you want to help a sister out in the demise. And what was funny, she's giving this speech and there are white people all around, these hipsters that think they're cool going, yeah, pay the woman. And folks, before you dismiss this, before you dismiss her, you better go see how much money she raises in her GoFundMe or her PayPal. You better check it out. It'll be thousands, if not 10,000s of dollars that this woman will get because she dared say to white folks, will this to me, give this to me. They should be helping groups like mine, not being self-serving, but it's the truth. That's what they should be helping. People that are out there changing the way people view blacks in a good way. But no, this woman will get funding, probably to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. We'll come back and see what she gets and maybe do a segment on that as well. Short break, we'll be back in a minute.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.